videotaped in its entirety and will be broadcast live today and will be repeated on Saturday, September 4th at 2 p.m. If anybody wishes to speak to us, there's speaker slips on the back table there, and please turn off all your pagers or cell phones during the meeting. So with that, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Dickinson. Slowey.
Yes.
Peters.
Here.
Yee.
Here.
Collin.
Here.
Nilo.
Here.
Morin.
Here.
Sheedy.
Here.
Leary.
Here.
Natoli. Waters.
Here.
And ex officio McGarvey.
Aye.
We have a quorum.
Sandy, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Had a little trouble getting started.
Okay.
Great trick
So-
to play on somebody sometime would be to ask them to lead us in the pledge and then have everybody remain silent.
That's right. See if they would remember it themselves, right?
Exactly.
All right. We just we had this scheduled for 3:15. We just got out of executive session. So, Harry, do you have a report out of executive session, please?
There's no report out on there's no reportable action on the first item, which is the litigation item. And I believe that there's no report out on the executive director item, but I believe you will be discussing that under your next item in open session.
Okay. Item 3.
We have executive session reports, A and B, anticipated litigation and public employment, and we have action.
Okay. Rich? Or Harry, I'm sorry.
Maybe I can address item A, which has to do with the subpoenas, and then we can move on from there. As the Commission is aware, your auditor has been conducting a 2003 audit of the cable franchise revenues. We have been informed by the auditor that there are certain documents that he has requested that Comcast has not been willing to provide. He came back to your executive director and myself and asked for us to assist him in acquiring the documents he needs to finish his audit. These documents primarily have to do with programming, insertion fees, and advertising revenues. We've had several exchanges of letters with Comcast. Comcast has we've requested them to provide the documents that they're willing to provide, and then, and if they would not, then we would, ask for subpoena authority. The Comcast has requested that they give us some more documents before this Commission authorizes the issuance of subpoenas. Our belief at this point is that we would like you to adopt a resolution similar to what you did last year that says that if the auditor requests information and it is refused, and he comes to the executive director, and the executive director, together with legal counsel, believe that the documents are relevant to his audit, we would go to your chair, and you would authorize, and this resolution would authorize your chair to issue a subpoena for those records on behalf of the Commission. We believe that it's appropriate to go forward at this point to get that authority. We would then, it would be our intent to go through one more round of requests before we would approach the Commission chair with a request for a subpoena if that in fact becomes necessary. And I believe that your clerk has draft resolutions for you if you are so inclined.
All right. Thoughts from the members?
Do we have that draft resolution here?
I believe that Diane has it.
Okay, I would request that she hand it out.
Half of them here.
And she has extra copies if members of the public would like to see it.
I think we got that. Can you use some copies back down for the public,
Yeah. Do members want to review that proposed resolution? We have one speaker on that. I'd like to have Karen come up, please, and from Comcast and speak to this matter, and then we'll have our discussion.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman Waters. And Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to address you on this important issue. I think it's important that the Commission understand that the documents that are being requested that Comcast is unable to provide are confidential programming agreements with our programmers. We have legal covenants to keep these contracts and agreements confidential. I'm told by our attorneys and accountants that the financial information which we are willing to provide as a sign of good faith, even though we firmly believe that these are non-revenue items that should not be subject to franchise fees, we are willing to supply those financial records anyway, and that those should suffice in trying to come to some kind of solution on the Commission's end. Again, I think we're really talking about two audits. There's a prior audit that we've already discussed. This is this last year's audit, and we're talking about advertising agency fees, and which was the same issue as before. And these programming launch fees, this is a new issue that has come up. And the documents that we're not able to provide are subject to confidential covenants.
Have you ever had these documents requested by any other agency in the United States, and you've refused them under the confidentiality, or have they signed an agreement with you and you have released them? Is this the first time, or you've never released these?
I asked our attorney this morning whether or not that had ever happened. I was told that we have never been asked to see the programming agreements.
And your attorneys don't feel that we could keep it confidential?
I don't think it's a matter of you keeping it confidential. I think it's a matter of a covenant we've made with the programmers that we will not release them to anyone.
Okay, well, we'll leave that up to Harriet and your attorneys then. All right.
Any other questions?
Any other questions to the speaker, or any comments?
I was going to say that we certainly can extend the offer of keeping the documents confidential. But Karen, if there is something that Comcast is relying on with respect to what it believes is its legal inability to produce these records, then it would be important to share that document with our counsel for analysis of whether it pertains or not.
Okay. I appreciate that, Commissioner. I know that there has been an exchange of information. I don't know for sure that some document, but I could certainly see to it that if there are documents that describe the nature of the confidentiality or whatever, we could get those to Ms. Steiner.
Okay. Are there any other?
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, if there are no one else to speak, I'm prepared to move the resolution.
Okay. I hear a second.
Second.
Seconder.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to make one additional comment. I support this, but I do think that it's reasonable to try to find a form and fashion of getting the information in a way which takes cognizant of whatever interests from a business perspective Comcast legitimately has, while at the same time satisfying ourselves that we're getting full, complete, and accurate information necessary to make the determination we need as a commission about how to best proceed in the interests of the public.
Can I just add that is our, we do not intend to seek a subpoena merely for the fact of doing it. What our auditors are telling us is we need to see this information because we need to assure ourselves that what we're seeing in the financial statements is, in fact, what we believe to be the right interpretation of your contractual obligations with your cable provider. If there is another way to work it out, we would be happy to consider that and see if it meets your auditor's needs in dealing with this. And I'm cognizant of the fact that people have business dealings and they would like them to retain confidential. However, they signed an agreement with you with respect to franchise fees, and they can't, by reason of a separate confidentiality agreement, preclude you from getting the information that you need to complete your audit.
Correct.
Anyone else? Let's have a roll call on this, please.
Dickinson?
Aye.
Slowey?
Aye.
Peters? Yee?
Aye.
Cullen?
Yes.
Nilo?
Yes.
Moran?
Yes.
Sheedy?
Aye.
Leary?
Yes.
Natoli?
Aye.
Waters?
Aye.
Unanimous,
Carries.
motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, next item, please.
We have staff status report, workers' compensation insurance, Sure West and Frontier status, and miscellaneous.
No, we did.
Do we skip B?
We didn't. You
No.
skipped B.
Skip B.
We still need to do B,
3B.
the executive director's
I'm sorry.
contract.
Yes.
Read that, please.
We have public employment, executive director.
Okay.
Report from the committee?
Report from the committee.
Yeah.
You want to get? Would you do that, Jim, or do you want? Go ahead. Why don't you do? Well, all right, I'll do it. We have a committee. We've had a committee as far as what we wanted to do with our executive director as far as future employment, and we have a couple options for the board. Option one would be effective when the current contract runs out until October 31st of 2005, so approximately it would be a one-year contract. Full-time at a salary of $126,685, which is a 12% increase over
44 months.
44 months. Okay. And that's option one. Option two is work 60% of the time, or 3 days a week, at the board's discretion and direction for a salary of $100,000, which is $26,685 less, and that would be a 2-year contract until December of 2007.
3-year.
Go ahead. You want to clarify?
A 3-year contract, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry.
Back to get your notes.
3 years. I'm sorry. 3 years. Okay.
And
That one was
Robbie,
at 3 years.
not to question any of that, but I was under the impression we were looking at a 1-year contract at a flat $125,000.
No,
Maybe I misunderstood the meeting we...
No, I think because I polled all the
Okay,
members.
that's fine. I've
And
been
no,
wrong
let me
before.
finish. I polled all the members, and 3 of us were in agreement with the 126,685, and you and I discussed rounding it off to 125, and I thought I heard you say you'd be comfortable with either one, so,
Okay, I just didn't hear that in the room, so that's fine. No problem.
okay. Any other comments?
So
Just-
the
let me ask,
subcommittee's preference was,
Just want
Option-
to ask Jeff, though. Jeff, you said your understanding was for a 1-year term versus a 3-year term. Is that what you said?
No, just the difference in the dollars.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I just make sure I understood you. Okay.
Okay, then the 100, he said rounded off to 125,
Right.
and he and I had the discussion.
Right.
All right, so that's option one is being recommended by the subcommittee, which is full-time, $126,685 for 1 year.
Robbie,
Yes.
I wasn't real clear on the percentage increase. 3 years, is that right, Rich? I wasn't real clear on
40
that.
12% over 4.
Pardon me?
12% over 44 months.
12% over 44 months.
Explain what that is, please, Rich.
My original contract was for 30 months. The proposed extension would go through October 31st of next year, and the number that was discussed was 12%.
It's not a 12% average over that period of time, over the whole 44 months?
No, it would be at the end of the, starting now, and then through that term would be a 12%
Total
increase.
44.
because there was no change during your time. Is his mic on?
It
I'm
says on,
just,
but it's not.
I
Yeah,
think
I didn't,
it
it's
just,
hard to know.
it just came
It's on.
on, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That wasn't going on.
No, it was hard. Okay, well, I would move the committee option then, option 1.
Second.
Okay, moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions?
Can I ask a question?
Certainly. You want to?
Having made that decision, do you want us to bring his formal contract back to you next month? We have a rough draft at least here based on what we thought potentially the commission's decision was. You could take it, you haven't seen it. It's the same as last year's virtually, with a few minor changes with respect to the timing, the salary, and the deletion of the severance payment. So you could take action on that tonight, or you could direct us to come back next month with a contract that's retroactive to September 1st, which is the termination of his contract right now.
I'd like to see
I know
it
this
come
is
back so we have a chance to study it, because you're highlighting what it is, and as long as we're going to make it retroactive, I don't see why we have to move on it today.
And I would note that one of the reasons the suggestion is to go to October 31st is because you take a summer break and it becomes very difficult to do this all at the September meeting.
Okay, any problems with that?
No. And did we want to include the discussion upstairs that we had, or did that need to be in the contract, or that was just something we were going to take off?
No,
on the
that's
side?
just, we'll just,
Thank you.
Could I clarify the action? Does that mean that we're extending the current contract?
My understanding that they've decided to extend the contract under the terms that the chair just discussed, and that we bring back the formal document at your next meeting, and that document, the salary increase, would be retroactive back to September 1st.
Correct.
correct. Okay.
Is the other part, I guess.
Thank you.
Better get a better mic.
The other part of that equation is
It's not
which
on.
we're willing to accept that. Okay, correct.
You are? You are willing?
Yes, sir.
Just for the record. Okay, so we've had a vote, and no abstentions, hereby carries, and we'll go to next item, please.
Now we're on item 4, staff status report, workers' compensation insurance, Sure West, and Frontier status, and miscellaneous.
Good afternoon. As you may be aware, the County Risk Management Office is your insurance advisor, and that is by ordinance. The risk management staff have been working with mostly with Diane. They brought to you a proposal for us to change our workers' compensation carrier. The projections are that this change, which is a government cooperative, will save us money over time. I've reviewed it. I recommend it. There are staff here from the insurance office, the risk management office, if you have any additional questions. The monies for this are already budgeted, and I'll comment as in the staff report. In almost 20 years, we've never had a workers' comp claim. We hope that this will save us somewhere in the range of 10 to 20% a year on our workers' comp costs. With that, I recommend it for your approval.
Okay.
I'll move approval. Second?
Moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions? Hearing none, that carries.
Thank you. Next in the staff status report, we'll take Sure West first. In the license and service activation agreements that we've approved with Sure West, they come to us every 6 months and report out where they've built, what their projections are, and then we analyze to see that they are proceeding on their plan to activate plant throughout Sacramento, trending toward the socioeconomic analysis, the socioeconomic balance as analyzed for the county. I'm just saying to you that the most recent report for June 30th from Sure West is on track, on target. They are trending exactly as they said they would. Their numbers are on the line. I'll also comment to you that as a result of your actions to bring Sure West through the WinFirst bankruptcy and move forward, in the range now of 20% of the constituents within your jurisdiction have a hardwire cable choice via Sure West and/or, of course, STI or Cable America, but they are progressing on schedule. Last fall, in the second item, you authorized Frontier Communications to activate a cable television service on their telephone company backbone in Elk Grove. They have reported that they have not yet scheduled their activation, that they will comply with the same reporting requirements as Sure West and the same trend line analysis relative to their service area, but they haven't activated yet, so there is no official status report from them. If you'd like copies of the packet and the analysis, we'd be happy to provide it to you, but for purposes of paper, we didn't include them in here. No questions? Let me see what else I got.
Okay.
That completes the staff status report.
Okay. Thank you. That doesn't take a vote, does it?
No.
I didn't think so. I didn't want to miss it. All right. Item number 5,
We have
please.
channel licensee grantee status presentations. We have one speaker.
Okay. Ron Cooper. Welcome,
Chairman
Ron.
Waters and members of the commission. Summer's almost over. State Fair is here. Went by really fast. There's a handout up there that I left with some bulleted items that update activities over a busy summer. As we reported at the last time we were able to meet during the budget hearings, that we would be continuing to examine the business zone, and attached to the bullet items there is the proceedings of that meeting that was held with 12 production company vendors. This is examining what support or what concerns there are in the community about the possibility of generating revenue for Access Sacramento's services by renting limited channel time on Channel 17. Again, there was a general consensus. You can read the proceedings in terms of the items that were raised. All agreed to continue the discussion and to keep the Cable Commission in the loop as those discussions proceed. There was a lot of activity. Amy Goodman and Democracy Now!, which is a national newscast carried by the Pacifica Network and about 130 public access stations around the nation, was in Sacramento. And we carried the program live out of our studios at 5 a.m. on Monday and Tuesday morning, August 23rd and 24th. That was really quite an honor and quite a technical feat. Our staff and volunteers and the help of California State University and Chico State. The signal was sent out on the cable system on 17, picked up by Sac State, microwave to Chico State, uplink to the East Coast. The director was calling the shots in our studio over the phone. They added graphics and roll-ins back up to the satellite and back down on Channel 18 with about a half-second delay. So you could watch 17, the raw video going out from Sacramento, and 18, the final program coming back. So it was really quite a early morning treat, and helped in terms of our fundraising efforts as well. We are working with Common Cause in Sacramento to meet with the general managers of local television stations. The Common Cause national effort is to seek 2 hours per week of prime time that would be devoted to political discussion, more than just the purchased television spots. And so there is a plan to meet with the general managers of local stations to seek that pledge in writing, and there's a group of us that will be accompanying the Common Cause representatives in those efforts. And just to give you just a thumbnail of why that's so significant, on the green sheet there is a little information sheet there that identifies the 6 top corporations in the United States and their media holdings. One of the things you may have been hearing about in the press is the consolidation of media ownership. And I think when you glance through that, you understand how important your local public education and government access channels are, because there are so few outlets, and what few outlets there are being bought up. So just to give, when I was reading through that, I was just, they own that too? I just couldn't believe it. So just continuing down the list here there, we're very proud to announce that the series program providers, 90% of them have renewed their series contracts, some at considerable increases in their membership rates. This was a way to stabilize the budget and to generate about $20,000 per year in additional revenue that will stabilize the layoffs at Access Sacramento, another budget reduction. We were pleased. We were looking at perhaps losing as many as 50% of our series programs, but in fact only about 10% were unable or unwilling to pay the increased fees. We're launching accesssacramento.org, which is an update of our website. It will look different, but it'll have a lot more detail. It includes the tvguide.com, which allows us to update our program guide directly from our offices. Until very recently, we were actually faxing the details, an old technology, that somebody would have to rekey into a computer somewhere. It was very, very involved and often inaccurate. So we appreciate that, and also Access Sacramento will allow us to generate revenue through online donations. Place Call Sacramento, we invite you to attend on October 2nd and 3rd, Saturday and Sunday at 2 p.m. Place Call Sacramento, this is the 5th year of contest generating 10-minute scripts, selecting 10 that then are produced over the summer and premiered on the big screen at the Crest Theater. This is our major fundraising event of the year. Because of the budget reductions, the Sacramento Festival Cinema is no longer, there is not a 3-day film festival. There is simply the Place Call Sacramento portion of it. The board is reviewing our bylaws and evaluating how the board members are selected, and that'll be a several-month process. Sacramento High has decided to resume ROP TV careers classes. They'll start in mid-October with one class as part of their media department doing campus news programs, and hopefully over the next several years expanding out to the Oak Park area as well. Parent Haven, the Sacramento City Unified School District, a half-hour informational program that's videotaped in our studios, continues for its 4th year. We're pleased that the Studio in a Suitcase that was designed by our Director of Training and Operations, Dev Singh, we've now sold 2 more units to Access San Francisco and Columbia, Missouri. That generates about 30% revenue to help in terms of Access Sacramento with each Studio in a Suitcase sold. And finally, working with the local IRS, we're having a class in our media lab on understanding taxes and tax statement preparation. This is an IRS program that hasn't had a home locally. It's a series of 10 Saturday workshops that teach a person how to prepare taxes, how to work on other people's taxes, and then they in turn volunteer to help those who are lower income or disenfranchised or have literacy issues in terms of how to prepare their own taxes. So we're very busy over at Access Sacramento, and that concludes my summer report. Are there any questions?
Appreciate the format.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Item number 6, Madam Clerk.
We have franchisee, licensee, general status presentations, and at this moment, we don't have any speaker slips.
Okay. Is there anybody in the audience before we adjourn that would like to speak to us? Because I don't have any more speaker slips. Okay. Any comments from the commission? We're hereby adjourned. Thank you.